Beauty means feeling confident in your own skin. Every day we wake up, we leave the house, and we all face so many different challenges that we should not have to get up and feel uncomfortable in our own skin. So that's what it means to me because I don't want no one going out here fighting and be like, oh, I don't feel good with, the acne that I got or whatever injections that I got, or I don't feel like I look like myself or I don't feel my best self, or I feel good and I don't feel like I project on the outside with the way I look. So
Mm,
I feel like it just means getting up and walking out in your skin in the
mm.
most confident way ever.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Devon Powe, a registered nurse in the state of Texas and also a FNP student. He's been doing injectables for the last 5 years and currently teaches at the National Laser Institute as an instructor and as a private injector for their Dallas location. So, Devon, welcome and glad to have you here.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. So let's start with this, Devon. How did you first get interested in the medical field?
So the medical field, I was introduced as a child because my mom, she was in it. She's a nurse and she's currently a nurse practitioner. So now I ended up becoming a nurse. I was in college and I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta make money doing something. So I was like, let me just go to nursing school and just see how it goes. And that's kind of where it stemmed from right there.
Okay. And so then now you also have a business. I know you teach, but also you have a business, Atelier Infusions. So what
hmm
led you to transition into infusions and wellness?
Okay, so a lot of people answer the story because was not by, I didn't get into there just like by some happening or anything like that. It's honestly, I moved from Chicago to the Dallas area of Texas, and I was like, I gotta have a job. I was like, I don't sit up here and, have a job or anything. So I was like, just, I was like, let me apply for this IV hydration. I was like, I didn't really give IVs, I was always in like the med spa world.
Mm.
So I was like, let me just try it. Like the most I knew how to do was just draw blood because I was in med spa and plastic surgery, and I was circulating. I didn't have to put in IVs like that. So I tried it, and the first time I did it, I messed it up, but it's okay. And then as time went along, I just kept doing it, and that's how I got introduced to IVs. I worked for another company at first. That company ended up selling, and now I have my own company.
Okay. And so what led you to want to start your own business instead of just continue to work at another company?
I initially did not want to start. I always tell people this, because I was just like, I don't feel like doing all the taxes and the headache and the ordering of
Yeah.
the supplies and doing this and that, and because it is a lot of work when you really think about it, and it's a lot of unpaid labor, if you really think about everything that we do.
Mhm.
Um, but when they sold, and the guy, one of the members of the company that had sold, they had got online. They was like, "You guys are not in the contract." He was like, he called me. He said, "Devon, you have the most clientele." He was like, "You have the most repeat clientele. You make the most money." He was like, "You will be fine going on your own, getting a medical director, going on your own, doing everything you should do." And I was like, "Huh, you think so?" Because a medical director, I was like, I don't know how expensive they can be. And I was like, well, I found someone. I was like, let me try it. And funny enough, I'm still with the same medical director to this day.
Nice. Okay. So then when it comes to IV infusions, for people who have no idea what an IV infusion is, how would you explain it?
So if you don't have a reference of like going to the hospital and be like, hey, I'm getting an IV infusion, pretty much what we do is we stick a needle in your arm and the needle comes out obviously, and it's just a little piece of plastic that stays in. So it's not a painful procedure at all. It lasts for about an hour that you're getting it done, and it's a bag of fluids that goes into your arm, and we can put different vitamins, the vitamins that you take orally, we can put different vitamins via the IV, and then sometimes we can put some extra stuff too to give you more of an immediate response to the IV bag versus if you take something orally, like if you take like a B12 orally to get energy, that normally takes like a few days, right? If
Mhm.
you get B12 in the IV bag within like the next hour or two, you're like, wow, I feel great.
Mhm. Got it. So when it comes to the IVs, my understanding is that you can kind of mix different things in, like different vitamins. So how do you kind of decide what you're going to put in there?
Okay, so this is where education comes into part because a lot of people, some IVs we do get education in nursing school, we do, right? But this is when you have to like really research your education and really talk to your pharmacies. And I always go on the extra bin and I talk to the pharmacists, get extra education from them because we get to choose which pharmacies we work with, right? So I
Mhm.
get to choose this pharmacist and be like, well, why is your product better? Why is this product better? And some people they'd be like, oh, we have liposomal, or some people be like, oh, we're breaking past the cell wall a little bit faster, or some people it's just multiple different things that they have to where we can break past and do things a little bit better. And you get to decide, one, how much you would like to spend on the vitamins, and if your patients are willing to charge, you can charge them for the vitamins. And then two, if we can, what's it called? Go in and like negotiate a good deal with the pharmacy. So we're able to do everything that we would like to do essentially, and that's how we choose which vitamins goes in the bag. Then two, we talk to the patients and be like, well, what are you feeling?
Mhm.
If you're feeling like you got too much energy, maybe you don't need that.
Mhm.
Or if you're feeling like I need some energy, or some people they have like testosterone issues, or they need something to help support that. Because some people they need stuff to support what's going on. You just never know what a person is going through, so you got to really sit there and talk to them.
Okay. So once you kind of figure out what issues or struggles that they have, from there you're able to put together, I guess it would be like a customized, I'll call it cocktail. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but a customized cocktail
Yeah,
of what's going to be put into that IV bag for them.
yeah, that's definitely how it happens. No one person gets the same IV bag as the next person.
Okay. Interesting. That's good to know. So now what I've seen with some other like IV places, they have kind of like their or like their drink menu, I guess you can call it. It's like, oh, this is for fatigue, this is for hangover, this is for immunity. Are those kind of things viable? Like, is it good that hey, these everything is all the vitamins are in this bag that's going to be for immunity, or is it a little bit too much of a one size fits all and it really needs to be customized?
It doesn't have to be customized because I mean I have a drink menu. It's not as big as other places, but I have something to where we can get the basis started off as, and
Mm,
then we just go from there. So let's say if you're a hungover, I know for sure I want to hit you with B complex, B12, magnesium, and glutathione.
mm,
Glutathione helps in so many different ways as the master antioxidant, but it will really help you just really just like shake the foundation, getting that alcohol pushed through the system so we can get it out a little bit quicker. And
mm,
it's just something great for it. So it's not that I have to sit up here and have a drink menu. It's just that I have to know what each thing does and how it's going to benefit you in that moment. Because you could be like, I'm hungover, but I'm also nauseous. I'm hungover, but I got a headache. I'm hungover, but I couldn't sleep.
mm.
So I can take that and I can run with it three different ways.
I see. And in what situation, I guess, is there going to be certain situations where it can happen faster or slow? Or I guess, how fast are they going to start feeling the effects of it?
It depends on your body. So it depends on how your metabolism moves, and it depends on how everything goes within your body. So that's how we sit up here and do everything and how we base everything off of.
Okay. And is it something that in general, like IVs, you just get kind of when you're feeling down, or can you make the argument that you should be doing it on a regular basis?
Can I make the argument that you should be doing it on a regular basis? Of course I can. I can be like, hey, if you like this feeling, you should continue doing this every so often, or you should be doing this, however much you want to.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the great thing with IVs. You can do it as much or as little as you want to. I say do it depending on your comfortability, your budget, your everything that you have going on. So if you really like getting an IV done, you have the budget for it, get it more often because some people they incorporate it into their beauty maintenance. So, some people they get it before they have big business ventures, big performances, marathons, or post care from these big things. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of High Rocks. I had a few High Rocks athletes where they train for like this really long fitness competition. So people, I've had them do that. It just depends on what you would like to do it for, but we just go then and there from that.
Okay, good to know. Now, with IVs, I know IVs have been around for a long time, but I feel like the whole IV like come in and kind of get this vitamin bag has been a little bit of a newer trend. So, with people or a newer concept. So, with people that come in, what would you say are some of the common misconceptions or myths that people have about IV treatment?
That it's not a medical treatment. I would say it is definitely much so a medical treatment. Anyone that's giving you an IV should be a nurse or higher.
Mm,
So that's what I really like about it. We tend to go through a full-blown good faith exam with our patients, and we take a medical history to make sure you're not allergic to anything, or if
Mhm.
we need to switch around different vitamins, things of that nature. So that's why we really go through it all. That's what I love about the different vitamins and everything that we have going on. I feel like that's one of the big myths. I think too, a second big myth is people they don't realize how easy it can be. After your good faith exam, it's just a conversation. Once you're sitting there, I can stick the IV in you, I can take your blood pressure, and we can just go. You can sit there for 45 minutes to an hour, and afterwards I take it out and you're like, that's it. And I'm like, that's it. It's not a hard, it's not a, super cringe process. It's not something to be nervous about. And especially since we can go to people's houses now and do them, it makes people a lot more comfortable. Like, oh, you come to me and get this done? Of course.
Okay. So is there anything, I guess, that people need to be aware of before doing this treatment? Or would you kind of recommend that everyone at least tries it once just to kind of see how it can help them?
I say if you have like a good, hydration level and good things like that, beforehand, is it a need? Absolutely not. But if you're a person that's living an active lifestyle, if you're into wellness, if you are working in the heat, because in Texas, it's hot for 9 months out of the year, if you're just doing something that's like consistently draining, I would definitely say give it a try because you never know how much it could help your health and your fitness. I
Mm,
have people who their teen kids call and be like, "Hey, I need an IV." Because they play football year
mm,
round, or they
mhm,
play basketball, or they're on the golf team, and those are long. It's early mornings, and they're golfing for 4 or 5 hours.
mhm.
So it's just things like that.
Okay. So when it comes to IVs, will it have a little bit more use as recovery? Like, hey, I've done this long exercise all day long, or this competitive sport all day long. I want this to recover. Or is there something as far as enhancing performance? Like if they have like multiple rounds of doing something in between rounds, they take it to get more performance. Like, or is it going to be both?
I don't really think it's going to really enhance performance. Like it could, like if you're doing something like NAD, could
Mhm,
it enhance your energy? Yes, but as far as performance, no. And no one would like realistically want an IV put in between a round and like let's get this done and let me go back out there and let me put it another way. It's just that's not realistic, and especially you have to think it's a 1,000 ml bag or a 500 ml bag.
yeah.
No one's doing all of that. That's just a lot to go through.
Mm,
But after like post-care recovery, people definitely do that. Or sometimes people they do pre-care and they'll get an IV beforehand to really just like some people do it to bond with their teammates. Some people they do it to, really get hydrated because they know they're about to be sweating out a lot of fluid. So it's just a lot that they're doing right then and there.
Good to know. Okay. Now, let's say that someone is interested in getting IV treatment done, but they're looking for the right, I'll call it right provider to apply it for them. What
Hmm.
would be some advice you would give to this person as they're doing their search, trying to find someone who can uh, find, I guess, the right cocktail for them and implement it correctly?
I don't think, I mean, one, you need to find a medical professional. So, I mean, a nurse, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, medical doctor. Those are the only, oh, and I would say a paramedic too, depending on which state you live in. But
Mhm.
those are the only people that really should be administering your IVs, okay? Those are the people that should, that's it, that's all. Two, it's just someone, as long as they have a good personality and they know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, I feel like that's a good fit. And as long as like you feel like you can gel with them and everything can move around with them, you could have a really good, successful time getting an IV. Because they should be able to educate you. They should be nice. They should be, especially if they're coming to your house or if you're going to a clinic to get it done, they should be relaxing because some people they do have the fear of needles. So I feel like those attributes make a good person to, give you an IV and to really make you feel comfortable and at home. If you have someone that doesn't have a good attitude, it's just not going to make you feel better. If you have someone they don't know how to like really engage with people or talk to people, that's not a good fit to get an IV. But if you have someone that can educate and be charming and just be really a good people's person, that's what really makes a good person to give an IV as well. Because it's a people's business and it's a business at the end of the day. It's not like going into a hospital. And have you ever heard of the term like mean nurses go into nursing? You're not dealing with that. You want to deal with someone that's, nice.
Yeah, I get that. Now, when it comes to, I guess, is there any red flags, but like any danger that I need to be aware of, like as a consumer? Like, I don't know if quality of IV is something that they need to be concerned about. I know with some of the other, like, I guess if you're taking like medicine, in some situation to be aware of like what is the quality of the medicine you're taking. In IV, is that something that they should even be aware of, or it's not really a thing? Like all the quality of the IVs are going to be about the same across the board.
I so this is what remember when I was saying um about the pharmacies and things like that. One, you want to get yours from a 403A or 403B pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only pharmacies you could be getting them from.
Mm-hmm.
Two, that's the only pharmacies I would get them from. Two, um, I would make sure that they have a medical director, they're medically covered. Are they insured? Those are things that I would think about when it comes to, red flags and things like that. Or as whoever you're getting it from, you can always look up their name on the Texas Board of Nursing or Texas Medical Board or whatever state that you're in. You can always look them up to make sure they're licensed and everything. So I feel like that's a good thing to sit up here and do.
Okay. And when it comes to creativity, how important would you say creativity is in what you do when you're helping with your clients?
I feel like you have to. So I feel like as the generations go along, I feel like some people they're losing their wit.
Mhm.
So if you are listening to someone's problem, I always tell people there's more than one way to skin a cat. So some people they could, because when you get an IV done, some people they can taste the B vitamins or the B12. They can taste it, right? They be like, oh, I really don't like the taste. So you have to come up with the alternative for that or a way to get it in without them tasting it and things like that. So
Mhm.
you just have to, come up with a way to sit up here and make it less, more tolerable for people.
Mhm.
So I might put the B12 and the B complex in at like the last 200 mLs. Don't deal with it. Or when it comes to NAD, I could run it through the full bag, or I can again put it in at the last 200 mLs. And
Mhm.
some people they might like it a little bit better.
Okay.
So because they're like, oh, I can get it done. It might hurt a little bit, but I can get it done and I can, get the filling out the way and hurry it up. But some
Yeah.
people they don't mind sitting there for the longer period of time and let me just get it and I can get it nice and smoothly and things like that. So that's why.
Okay. And do you find that a lot of your clients come to you and they have a lot of questions about it, or that you do a lot of education around it, or do you feel like most people kind of know, like if they can get IV, they kind of know what it is, and it's just a matter of what's going to be the cocktail that they get?
So that's the great thing about Texas is you have a wide range of patients. You have people that know about it. You have people that want to know about it. You have people that, I don't really know about this, but some people, some friends have told me like, hey, I should get this done. I felt so much better after getting it done.
Mm.
So, we have different types of clients in order to service different types of needs. And that's what people typically tend to love.
Mhm. Okay.
So, that's what I like about it. So some people they have those question questions like what's about to happen to me. I've never had a needle put in me, or I've only seen it like when my wife has given birth, or I never had surgery, so I don't really know what it's like to get a needle put in me besides a shot. So how's this process gonna be? You do have those people that are nervous to get it done, but then you have some people they're like, okay, I'm already here. I took my blood pressure, it's right here on the paper. Let's just get this done. I'm ready to get this, I'm not pregnant, I'm not breastfeeding, I'm not doing this. They're just ready.
Mhm.
So it's such a wide variety of people that are getting this situation done, and that's what I love about it because Texas is like such a bunch of highs and lows.
Mhm. Sounds like it's a perfect fit then.
Yeah, it is. It's actually a great fit.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Devon, is there any maybe memorable stories you could think of about clients you've helped, maybe even challenging cases that they were going through, and how you were able to get them a great result in the end?
You know what? One of the ones that stick out to me is about 2 years ago, and we're actually in the season. It was on Christmas Day. This family that had called, they were like, "Hey, my little girl, she's like just not feeling good, and I want her to have a good Christmas. Do you think it would be worth it for you to come over here and give her an IV?" I think she was like 8 or 9 years old, and she didn't really want to get stuck with a needle, and she was like, I just, I don't feel good. I feel a little nauseous, this like that, and I was like, I don't know, like let me just come over here and see her. Let me just see. Mind you, this is Christmas Day. I got my own family, own everything. So, we're just doing everything. And I was like, okay, let's just go and see. Went over there. I saw her. She was a little bit nauseous. She probably ate something funny the night beforehand, and she was a little bit like just flushed. Like she just looked pale. So we did that, and the moment you know, we did the IV, she started perking up. I gave her some anti-nausea meds. She started perking up. It was absolutely amazing. It was great, and she loved it. So that's what we typically loved about the entire treatment, and it was just it was a really good process because I did not want to get out of bed on Christmas. I wanted to just deal with my family,
Yeah.
but that was really worth it. I was like, you know what, that one was worth it. So
Yeah.
I
That's a
still
great
remember that
story.
to this day.
That's a great story. Now, Devon, I want to switch tracks because I know that you also teach as an instructor for the National Laser Institute. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Okay, so I'm an injector and it took many jobs to get here, but they were like, "Hey, would you mind teaching?" They was like, "You got the skill, you really know how to deal with people and teaching is a different beast." I always tell people. So we had a really good conversation, me and the manager at the time. And then there's three locations, but I work at the Dallas location. And I teach once a month there. We have our continuing medical education, and I absolutely love it. I will say if you don't know how to juggle multiple personalities and if you are not quick with information on your feet, it is not the job for you. But if you can do that, it is a really great job to have.
Mhm. Okay. And I guess what would you say is some of the most common mistakes that your students make?
So they're all new to this. One of the most common mistakes is they don't do their didactic portion. They're not reading at home. They're not going over their anatomy at home, things like that. Because when we're teaching, it's so much that I'm going over. I'm like, hey, did you read this last night? Hey, did you read that? And when it comes to being an injector, people don't realize if I was to put together I can put like an entire 6 month to a year long educational course on injecting. That is how I could practically make it an entire another degree
Yeah.
just because it is so freaking much.
Mhm. But with that,
So they make so many mistakes. I mean, from reconstitution to drawing the medication up
mm,
to how to stick the needle in because if I'm going right here for projection, if I'm going right here for length, if I'm going, it's just so many different things I can go over students, and I'm just like, ugh, like what is our thought process behind this? So
mm,
it's such a lengthy career that
mm,
people don't realize how much goes into it. And even your experts, let's say if you're dealing with like an injector bunny or
mm,
a Dr. Lee Walker, there's still something more to learn,
mm,
just because even though they're experts in their fields, there's even more.
yeah.
So you have to always think like we're going further and further and further into the industry because there's studies coming out every single day.
Mm. And with that in mind, I mean, where do you think the future of aesthetics is going?
I think the future of aesthetics is all regenerative. So everything to regenerate you. So it's not going to be as much of sculpting, but we're going to be regenerating your collagen, everything exosomes. Like we're already in the exosome stage, but we're going to be getting into the stem cell stage. So everything stem cell related, it's going to be like FDA approved and all this other stuff. I feel like that's going to be the next thing. Right now, I see some clinics slowly getting into like Wharton's jelly. Then after that, they're going to be getting into stem cells. It's going to be like helping with the darkness under the eyes, generating your own collagen, and we're going to be doing a lot of mixing, is what I feel like in the future. Quiet as hell, a lot of doctors are not talking about what they're doing. They're like, "Oh, I'm just doing a fat transfer in clinic." These doctors aren't doing just fat transfers in clinic. They're doing fat transfer and they're hyperdiluting radius down and they're putting it into, someone in the clinic. So that's what they're doing.
Okay. And
So that's what they're doing in a lot of these cases.
yeah. What do you think is fueling this? Like this push more into the regenerative medicine side?
I think what's fueling this is a lot of people, they're really going towards the I want to look like myself but better. And what is the most natural way? Because everyone they say I want to look natural, I want to look natural, I want to look natural. And it irks my nerves because a lot of 90 these injectors get online, they're like, "Oh, my patients look like they have nothing done." That's a lie.
Mhm.
Everyone knows they had something done. Do they just look good? That's the question.
Mm,
And I just wish they would start saying that more. But a lot of people they just want to look like themselves, but even better and continually progress.
got
So
it.
whether it be they want their skin to look really good, they don't want no wrinkles, they
Mm,
want, their face to look contoured, they don't want nothing to sag, nothing to drop.
mm,
That's what they're looking for.
okay. And when it comes to the vision for your business, the Atelier Infusion, what's your vision for the business?
I want to merge it with aesthetics. That's the next step. I'm almost done with nurse practitioner school.
Mhm.
So I want to merge it with um I want the two to come together so I can have a full clinic by itself. I want to bring it to even more, not just IV hydration. I want it to be wellness. I want it to be peptides. I want it to be hormone therapy, but I still want um the aesthetic side. I still want to be able to Botox your fillers, your regenerative stuff, your biostimulatory agents. And then I also want to eventually either be with a plastic surgeon or collaboration with a plastic surgeon, like with if we're like right next to each other. So we can offer our patients a full service everything. That's my ultimate goal.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it's a very bright vision you have for the future.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, Devon, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at atelielinfusion.com. Now, last
Hmm.
question is, what does beauty mean to you?
Beauty means feeling confident in your own skin. Every day we wake up, we leave the house, and we all face so many different challenges that we should not have to get up and feel uncomfortable in our own skin. So that's what it means to me, because I don't want no one going out here fighting and be like, oh, I don't feel good with, the acne that I got, or whatever injections that I got, or I don't feel like I look like myself, or I don't feel my best self, or I feel good and I don't feel like I project it on the outside with the way I look. So
Mm,
I feel like it just means getting up and walking out in your skin in the
mm,
most confident way ever.
mm. Okay, well, there you have it. Devon sharing his knowledge and expertise. So, Devon, where can people contact you and
Thank
your
you.
business?
They can reach me at atelieninfusions.com, or they can reach me on Instagram at botox.daddy.
I like that name.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, Devon, this is great. Thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing your message.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.